Hey guys, my name is Miska and welcome to Overwatch Central. I'm here with a news video as per usual. It's another Miska news video and we got some pretty interesting stuff. We're gonna begin by taking a look at some range related things. If you haven't seen it lately in the workshop, a lot of ranges for characters, so just range for various abilities and such, have been visualized to better grasp how abilities function and what the actual ranges are, as you know, you can't always see that visually in game. And one of the latest ones is a Sombra video made by @PMA Jellies on Twitter, who just showed the different hacking out of LOS, the EMP size, which is pretty massive obviously, and then it's just the more kind of hacking just out of range, so you know, you can kind of back off and get more hack out of it. I'm gonna show some of the video, I'm gonna link to the full one in the top comment, but I also went into this workshop code that was included in the tweet, and as you can see, it is just a little bit ridiculous when you put it like this, but I do want to remind you that, for example, the EMP is LOS restricted, so whilst it might be this big normally, you're gonna have a lot of pillars and other crap in the way that's really gonna limit that range a whole lot more. So I wouldn't say that the EMP itself, in terms of its range, is the problem. Maybe the duration of a hack from the EMP, or just the duration from a normal hack. There's a lot of discussion around Sombra since she's such a uniquely strong character with her, you know, ability disabling capabilities. Personally, I wouldn't say it's like a, oh, buff Sombra or hey, nerf Sombra type of discussion, but it's one of those things where I wouldn't personally be surprised if we saw some tweak to Sombra in the future. Let me know what you think about all that in the comments though. I'm not quite sure where I stand on this topic actually. Moving on, let's talk hero teasers, and we love talking about this stuff on the channel. You've probably seen it quite a lot, so sorry if it's been, you know, talked to death already. I wanted to bring up the calendar once again though to point out some things because people are getting a little bit desperate. So let's have a look. First off, Hammond. We talked about Hammond already. He was teased generally between the 21st and 25th of June and hit the PTR on the 28th of June. Doomfist was teased, I think the first teaser actually was on July 4th and he came out on PTR on July 6th. He had been talked about so much before then though, so I imagine they didn't want to keep that hype train going on for too much longer. But yeah, that was about 2 years ago from today. Ana was teased on July 6th the first time actually, and she had been teased a little bit here and there throughout various promo material for Overwatch and other things. She was revealed on July 12th and hit the PTR that same day. So generally we've been right around these dates most years. So what could be different this year? Summer games might change, the dates might change a bit. Even this hero teaser right now has shifted a little bit from last year. And I'd like to believe that Jeff wanted to mostly prepare people for that. I don't think he would just say, hey, we're shifting the dates and then just move a hero release an entire month or two just because of that. That would just be ridiculous, especially with where we're at with Overwatch right now and so many people wanting a new hero, and they've already kinda teased it with the Baptiste event. It would be ridiculous to move it over a month. Personally, looking at these dates on the calendar as well, I feel like right now next week is looking the most likely for a hero teaser to come out for. Even if they would release that later into that week, that would have shifted the date from Hammond of, you know, late June to a few weeks later enough, and most likely be when we at least start seeing teaser for this next character. I wanted to mostly have that said because I've seen more and more threads and messages and tweets come up around when the next character is coming, and obviously nobody knows for sure, but all this just lines up pretty well. Blizzard have also had some events and such this week, of course the Baptiste event ending, but also the Workshop Showdown live stream happening, and when they do these sort of events in the same week, we don't tend to get anything right then, but we don't have anything scheduled for next week from what I know at least, so it seems like it's a likely time. Moving on though, we have a leak from someone that got fired from Blizzard. Get your leaks here, an anonymous user on 4chan. Already a lot of credibility here. Don't worry though, he uploaded a picture of the Blizzard logo. This is totally making this post fully legit. Now, sometimes with these leaks it can be a bit hard to tell, especially if you're an Overwatch YouTuber, am I right? Some of them have actually leaked proper things before. I believe some Orisa details were leaked and some other things really early on in Overwatch. And sometimes there are like QA testers and such that might leak things, but it is also fairly common practice in the movie industry and in the gaming industry to actually leak sort of fake things, or at least try and misdirect a little bit. Maybe give some people different code names for different things, or just different information. So if anything does leak, they can track down who actually leaked that and, you know, fire them or just, you know, not include them in future stuff. This time around though, I don't feel like there's even been much of an attempt made to try and have this be realistic. First off, there's barely any actual attempt to try and leak useful information or interesting information. I feel like every single internet speculation and every single controversy around gaming releases has just been crammed into this post to try and make Blizzard look bad, throwing in things like Reaper is gay as like a major reveal. And Overwatch 2 is set before and after the Winston home invasion. Like, what? Is that the recall this guy's talking about? Or like the whole Reaper trying to get into Gibraltar and steal that information in one of the really early shorts? Is this a Tracer's girlfriend dies and the Tracer and Widowmaker develop a romance together? Like, what? I don't know. This is just way too much. This is probably just horse shit from someone trying to have fun on the internet, so whatever. I'm gonna give this leak a solid 1.5 out of 10. Like I said, sometimes it can be hard to tell if a leak is actually real or not, especially if they don't release much information and try to be very realistic with it. And we have had real leaks in the past, but yeah, this just doesn't look like one. Finally, I wanted to mention a couple things that hit the live client just recently. Some things from the PTR that was added to the live client. The big one is that the Baptiste bug has been fixed. So the patch notes read, fixed a bug where Baptiste amplification matrix was not boosting healing effects. And this was not happening all the time, but it did definitely happen. I've seen some clips and some people talk about this, so I'm glad that this has been fixed now. I think they really want to try and get that bug fix out fairly early since it started to be pointed out by people. I want to mention as well, might seem like a small thing, but replays added replay key binding options was also in this patch just 2 days ago, and the replays are super useful. If you still play a lot of Overwatch, you should be using them. They are so useful and just really interesting, honestly, to watch the game from an entirely different perspective. The little overlays as well for all the little hero icons and such, super useful stuff. I played a bunch last night and had a couple losses that I wanted to inspect a bit further, and the replay system really gives you a lot of insight, so do use that if you still play the game. That is everything for this video though. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. This video was a little bit different, but I wanted to just throw in some stuff and try and make a somewhat interesting video out of just a mixed bag of goods. And yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.